Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a wonderful week. For those of you who tune in, welcome back. And for those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome. We are here. And for those of you who are watching the replay on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube, welcome, and thanks for joining. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. I am back in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. For those of you who tuned in last week, maybe for the very first time, I was in a car, which normally is not the case for a mental health moment. But I was celebrating Thanksgiving in Texas last week. Again, I'm back in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. Hopefully you all, for those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, hopefully you had a great time with friends or family or solo or however you spent that time. Hopefully you had a chance to really think about gratitude in your own life. What are you grateful for? How can you continue to have that gratitude, not just on Thanksgiving, right? But throughout the whole year. But let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat today. Welcome. Thanks so much for those who are starting to tune in here. For those of you new to Mental Health Moment, we are here every Tuesday talking about all things wellness, all things mental health, and how you can work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up very powerfully for yourself and show up for those around you, right? We want to be in a good place mentally and physically and emotionally and spiritually, and also think about how can we be in a great place and then be able to help those around us, right? So that's the goal of Mental Health Moment. So on today's Mental Health Moment, as we're winding down the year here, I really want to talk to you all about remembering to set intentions, right? Because there's a lot of things that there's just so much, especially around the holidays. If you celebrate holidays, it gets really hectic, really fast. I don't know about you, but the last couple of weeks felt like they just flew by. Like, I can't believe we're almost going to be in December. I'm like, where did November go? What happened? Right. And that's probably what's going to happen in December as well. So keeping in mind that this time of year can be really stressful, really hectic, very busy, but making sure that you are being intentional with your time and your energy. So here's what I want to remind you of today. Number one, and let me know in the chat if maybe you have this practice already, but over the next couple of weeks, especially as we head into the new year, I'm going to give you some tips of how you can start your new year in a different way, because I find that a lot of times, many of us, which is not a bad thing, but many of us, it's just something about the end of the year and the start of a new year. We're like, yeah, we have this energy and we're like, let's go. We have all these goals and resolutions and all these things, which is great, right? And hopefully, we can sustain those goals and achieve those goals, but also remembering to be intentional, right? So the first thing, and again, let me know in the chat, is what are you doing for your morning routine? Meaning, as soon as you wake up in the morning, what are you doing? And be honest, and it's okay, because I know I was guilty, and some of you know this story because I've shared it before, but last year that completely changed. But I know I used to be guilty of, when I woke up in the morning, the first thing I would do is I would head to my cell phone, right? I would already be thinking about, whether it's an email or whether it was social media or maybe it was a text message or something else that I needed to get to. Like, that was my morning routine. I woke up and I'm like, oh, where's the phone? Like, that used to be how I started my day. But let me know, again, in the chat here. And don't worry about the spam, you guys. Sorry about that. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but you can ignore that. It's the power of social media, right? That happens sometimes, but nonetheless, but let me know in the chat, how do you spend your morning? Like, what is your morning routine? Do you have something that you do? Do you wake up and head to the phone? And that's okay if you do, because again, I used to be there, right? If you're just tuning in here, we're talking the next couple of weeks. Actually, we'll be talking about the benefits and what you can be doing to set intentions, because again, we're getting through some really hectic, busy, crazy times. The holidays they're just not happy for everyone. It can bring back some painful memories depending on what happened. There's a lot of loss during this time. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot that can be happening through the holidays, or maybe it is happy for you. It just depends. But nonetheless, it's important, again, getting through these holiday seasons, getting into the new year, to make sure you're setting your intentions. So the first thing is to think about what do you start your day with. What I will tell you, first of all, there's not a right or wrong. However, how you begin your day is so phenomenally important. I can't stress that enough. And I will tell you, not just professionally, but personally also, because I really, really changed that. And it completely changes your day when you start off your day with something for you, right? So you have to decide what that is for you. You know yourself best. What is it for you that you need to do to start your day? So I want you, so for this, you have to ask yourself this question. What is it for you that you need to start your day powerfully? Right? What would that mean? What does that mean to you? Right? So what I did, starting last year, I started a gratitude practice, and I still do it now, but that was the start, right? That was the start of my morning. So I said, okay, as soon as I wake up, I need to be I need to be in a mental space of gratitude, because there's so many benefits, you all, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. There's so many benefits of being in a place of gratitude. So I was like, that's how I want to start my day. Like literally the first thing when I wake up in the morning, or maybe I'm thinking about something else, but I'm like, whoop, let's move the thoughts back over to gratitude. Right. And for me, it's spiritual. Again, it doesn't have to be that. Mental health moment is open to every race, religion, ethnicity, belief system. Everyone is welcome here. So whatever you believe is absolutely welcome here. But I'm just sharing, for myself, it is spiritual, and it is thanking God, and it is thinking about at least one thing that I'm grateful for, one unique thing that I'm grateful for. And usually I try to keep it pretty present. So something that may have happened the day before or about to happen, or something kind of current, versus, and there's nothing wrong. Again, there's no right or wrong, but I'm not like, well, 20 years ago, I remember when, right? I'm trying to keep it in the present moment of what I'm most grateful for. So that's how I started. That was last year. That's how I started the morning routine. I was like, let me just do that. Let me do something quick, because I'm not a morning person, you all. I will confess, as many of you may already know. so so I know many of my colleagues that spend hours in the morning on a morning routine. That is not me. I'm a night owl. So I was like, however, I still wanted to do something that took a smaller or shorter amount of time in the morning. So I started with that. And then this year, that was last year. And then this year I added to that practice, and I was like, okay, let me not only do the gratitude practice that I still do now, but I'm going to also add in a devotional. I'm also going to add in, just again, for me, reading a scripture, reading some motivational information about it, really thinking about how I start my day with motivation, with inspiration, with meditation, and with prayer and gratitude, right? So all those things, that is now the start of my day. And that is a non-negotiable for me. We've talked about it before. We've talked about it before on Mental Health Moment a while back. Actually, what are your non-negotiables? That's a non-negotiable for me, for my self-care, for my sanity, right? And what inspires me and motivates me and uplifts me and gets me through the day. So again, I ask you though, if maybe you're at a place where you're like, okay, I'm good. I think I'm good with my morning routine, but I think I need to add something else in. What would it be for you? And you can put in the chat, but what would it be for you if you added one thing? So again, not 12 things, but one thing to your morning routine, right? And again, it really, there is no right or wrong answer. It's just reflecting within yourself, like, what do I need? Right. And there's so many ways to start your day. You may say, man, I want to work physically on myself. So maybe I want to wake up and I just want to start stretching. Fantastic. Maybe you say spiritually, I want to work on myself and I want to connect, whether it's through meditation or prayer or some other way to spiritually just be more connected. Maybe you say mentally, I want to read something inspirational. It doesn't even have to be a scripture. Again, all belief systems are welcome here. It could be a motivational quote. Like, that's something quick. Just there's so many books, you all, little books of like just motivational quotes, just things you can read. You can print out from the internet, right? If you don't want to get the book, but just something to read. So mentally or emotionally, Maybe you're going to take some deep breaths as soon as you wake up to really get into a better mood, to really reduce your anxiety. Maybe you're going through something right now. Maybe you're in a hard time right now. And I want to be careful and say this is not I nothing on mental health month. This is not a cure all for depression or for anxiety or whatever it is you're going through. No, it doesn't magically make all your problems go away. However, a lot of times with a morning routine that's impactful for you and sacred for you and non-negotiable for you, it just helps to start the day better. Um, so I will tell you that, well, without going into details right now, this moment, this year, there's been many challenges this year, frankly. And no, my morning routine didn't magically make all my problems go away. But what it did was it definitely gave me hope to get through the day. And it definitely inspired me to just keep going, like keep going, right? Like there has to be something that you're doing. And this is just one example. We're going to talk about this for weeks on end going to the new year. But this is just one example, you all, of setting a morning routine. There's so much happening in the world. I've shared this a gazillion times on Mental Health Moment, but I'm going to remind you again, especially for my newbies. There's so much happening in the world. It is really, really critical that you work on what it is for you, like a morning routine, but what it is for you that keeps you inspired, that keeps you motivated, that keeps you uplifted, and continuing to bring that into your life, continuing to have that. You deserve that. Okay. For those of you who feel like, man, I don't even know if I deserve this, you are worthy. You are worthy. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be emotionally healthy. You deserve all good things. However, that being said, the world is still filled with what the world is. There's still stress out there, right? We have stress, we have losses, we have changes, we have hard times, we have dark times, all of that exists. So though, we have to find ways to get through those times. And I do want to put an asterisk on this, all of this, and remind you all that sometimes there's a lot of things I've shared for years, frankly, on Mental Health Moment, but sometimes it's just too much. Like the stress could be just too overwhelming for you. So if you feel like you're at the point where you're like, Dr. Hammond, I have tried so many things at home. I've tried my self-care. Maybe you did try a morning routine or you tried so many things, but you were struggling with maintaining your mood or maintaining or dealing with anxiety or whatever it is, and you felt like you were consumed with it. Maybe, and I don't know your situation, I'm just giving you tips here at Mental Health Moment, but maybe you might need to seek out a mental health professional, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I really want to keep that in mind. I really want you to keep that in mind and remind you of that, because again, it's just challenging, right? I love being here with each and every one of you. I love Mental Health Moment. I love giving tips. I love educating the community. I love all the things. But also, I also want to always remind you that these are things that you can do and tips that you can try for your wellness. However, sometimes it's not enough. And sometimes you need to reach out to a mental health professional. If you are in that boat and you're like, man, I've really been thinking about reaching out to someone, you can always reach out. Let me put it in the chat here, to organizations like the American Psychological Association. You can reach out to National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is NAMI. Okay, I'm putting these in the chat here for you guys. Hopefully, yeah, you guys should be able to see it. Those are just two organizations. There's a lot more, but you can go on those sites and find a mental health professional in your area, right? If that is something that you've been like, man, I think I need to take that step. And I will tell you, if you do decide that, if that is what you need to do, I'm super proud of you. Okay, I'm just really super proud of you, because it really shows your strength in saying, hey, I need to reach out to a professional. I mean, we do that all the time anyway. Like you reach out to professionals if you have a physical health issue, right? Well, for most people, we'll go to the doctor, let's say, or we'll go to a specialist, or we'll go to something else. But when it comes to mental health, of course, because of the stigma of mental health, we start to hesitate or we're worried. Well, what I can tell you is that, uh, well, those sessions would be completely confidential, because by law, they have to be confidential with a few exceptions if you decide to take the therapy route. So again, reach out to those resources if you need them, but also know that in the meantime, to be thinking about what can you do again to stay uplifted, to stay inspired, really to stay motivated, with a morning routine, for example. So, um, yep, someone, yeah, yep. Someone was sharing, yeah, some statistics in the chat. Absolutely. So, so keep that in mind. Again, your challenge, if you will, for this upcoming week is really to think about your morning routine. Like think about what you're doing when you first wake up in the morning for the first 10 minutes or so of your day. You may be like, I'm good. I have my practice. I have my setting my intentions or whatever it is I need to powerfully start my day. Or you may be like, I don't know. Right. Like it's just so hectic and so busy um and and things are stressful. Like is that how you're starting your day? Or can you say, you know what, I sort of kind of started my day okay, but I want to add more things in, which is okay too, right? Because that's what I, as I mentioned, that's what I did last year, starting the gratitude practice, and then this year adding the devotional, and who knows, maybe next year I'll add in something else in my morning too. And these are short things. So for those of you, I completely understand. For those of you who are like, I'm not a morning person, I feel like there's so many self-help books that are like, wake up like 2 hours early and stuff like that, which I'm like, nope. I'm just letting you know, I'm just being honest. I'm like, nope, I will not be waking up at 4:30 in the morning. I say that now, and maybe I will one day, but for right now in my life, I won't be doing that. If you are like, man, I'm a morning person, I'm energized, I want to wake up early, go for it. Like, do that. That's amazing. But if you're not, that's okay. Like, I don't know, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I always feel like I should have written a book, like, stay up late, for the night owls out there, because I feel like we get a bad rap. It's like the early bird gets the worm and all this celebration for waking up early to do things, and then the night owl people is just like, yeah. um but nonetheless, I mean, really think about though and examine your morning routine, because it's very, very important how you start your day. If you're like, man, I don't have a couple hours, I get it, neither do I, in the morning, but literally taking a couple of minutes, if you have 5 minutes, that counts as a start, because you're training your brain to go into a different mode every day, right? I even this morning, anyways, I was reading my devotion. I was like, man, this really helped my day, because I'm, anyways, trying to process a lot happening right now mentally. And then I read my devotion this morning. I was like, man, that makes so much sense. Like it was clarity for me, and it was calming and it was inspiring, and I'm like, okay, great, this really helped me to start to change my thinking as I go into this day. So again, really think about what you're adding in to your morning routine, and if you need to make some adjustments. So if you all need me, you can always reach out, drnikishahammond.com. Again, for your challenge, think about what is your morning routine? How can you make changes? Thinking about, again, what motivates you, what inspires you. I know sometimes, what we've talked about a similar topic before, and some people said, they wake up with music, like music is inspiring, or it's calming, or maybe it's a cup of tea, or maybe it's, again, meditation, maybe it's stretching, maybe it's, whatever it is, like something that is calming, something that is uplifting, and again, setting intentions for your day. Right. So again, if you need me, drnikishahammond.com, or you can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, any of those. I'm more than happy to connect. If you all ever need any mental health resources, be sure to reach out. I will do my best to connect you to someone if I know of someone in your area, for therapy or any other services. And yes, okay, next week, I was giving myself a mental note. Next week, I'll be letting you guys know a couple more announcements, but I need to yeah, solidify some things. So I will be sharing some more information next week about an upcoming event, because I know some of you have been asking about an upcoming event, but I'm solidifying some information, and then I will let you know about that. But again, thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you back right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Have an amazing week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye, you guys.